is with me. I'd like to really introduce him to you. He's actually someone who has an advocate against bad governance. Also, he's a nation builder advocate in person of Andy Akwative. Andy, welcome to ATN Saturday this morning.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you.
For having me. Great to be here this morning.
All right, so these are the issues that is quite making the rounds. A woman has Antonio Guterres coming to say that we need more women participation. That means women have not really been participating in the politics of Nigeria before. Is that what it shows?
No. That you need more women participation simply speaks to the fact that you have not had women participate in the number that he estimates to be adequate.
He said women and youth.
Yes,
that's what he said.
yes, to be adequate, to be good enough. By his estimation or by his reckoning, or by the UN's reckoning, because he's not speaking for himself alone now, he's speaking for the United Nations. The political space in Nigeria should actually have more women, more youth than they currently have. You know, so this is United Nations way of saying, oh, all of you who are currently holding the levers, make it somewhat easy enough for women and youth to be able to participate. And I think that what has been done by the APC, and I think majority of the other political parties, by slashing the fee for nomination of interest form, is one signal to show that indeed they would want women to participate more in the political space. I have a few reservations here and there.
Are your reservations, Andy?
A few reservations around. I'm not one who believes that you lower the standard for one to accommodate them. Once you are doing that, then you're already somewhat not giving advantage. Nowhere in our constitution, there's nowhere in any document where people are the ones who have got the training, the askings, the character. They have been thoroughly, walked through on what it takes to put out fire. So whether you were a magician, whether you were a doctor, pharmacist, or whatever, once there was fire, you stepped out for those who have the competencies, who have got the stamina to attend to it, to come in. I think this is exactly what politics is about. If you have not built stamina strong enough, if you have not built the learning and the character, with which you would be able to work in the political system, with which you'll be able to, standards and all that, ab initio, if you thought that you were ready to lead the country, begin preparing, start from doing all the things that your men folks would ordinarily do. If it takes you having meetings 24 hours, 7 days, start the process of having meetings. The likes of the Fumilayo and some Kuti, when they are ahead of men, and they showed their mettle, they showed their turf, and they became whatever it was that they became. When you not know gender, the circumstances and the situations that you are going to confront in any case, do not know any of all of these divisions that we are creating. Let everybody go there and fight and engage, so that at the end of the day, if they win, they become winners that are truly. And it's something that people are not truly happy with. Even I spoke with a chieftain or a stalwart of the APC, and in person of Tony Kocha quite yesterday, and he's not really, he said the price peg for the amount of the presidential expression form, nomination expression form, is quite humongous, and people have not really found it very funny. And in 2015, what really happened was that the price of money for the expression of nomination form was 27 million naira. John Oyego was the chairman at that time, and when he really told Buhari about it, that's now the president, President Muhammadu Buhari, he told him, when Buhari
lamented and said the price was really outrageous, as at 27 million. That's what he said at that time. That is not meant for people who are not really serious. And now we're seeing 100 million naira, and we've not heard the president said anything about it. Some party members are really turning a blind eye to it. And we see a woman, Uju, has gone to purchase that form. What do you make of this issue? Does this price peg encourage corruption? Is it a way of disenfranchising some Nigerians who really want to participate in politics? You said that how many youths are solvent enough to go pick up 100 million naira and purchase that form? And we know we have more than, will I say, 12 presidential aspirants that have gone to purchase their forms. We have the likes of the Vice President, Yemi Osibajo. We have the likes of Tunde Bakare that has gone to purchase his form. We have the likes of Akpabio. We also will come to that matter. The CBN governor is also part of those who've really come to purchase their forms. The governor, the transportation minister, Right Honorable Chibuike Amechi, is part of those who purchase his form. Some people say that some people gathered to buy the forms for them. This woman,
that you had this current number of aspirants who have even gone to pick their forms. That's the question you should ask them. Has there ever been any? Starting from 2000, yes, starting from 1999, from APC, from the PDP and the other political parties, what was the highest number of aspirants, those who were interested, that you got with the different political party forms? So where are you creating that? They are going to pick the forms regardless of the amount. Imagine if the amount was not 100 million, therefore. You'd have had like,
if it was lesser,
if it was less than that, you'd have had like 200 people going to pick presidential forms. And it's indeed
should it really be
able to, fish in that water, to be able to wrestle on that territory. Why are you going to be speaking English that this is? So whether you like it or not, every political party, they have the right to determine how they want to go about their process. Before you would be able to get, that stool, before you become the president, you must be supported by a political structure that has the strength, to accommodate you. So 774 local governments in Nigeria. Out of that 774 local, you are going to have local government, agents. There are thousands of polling units in Nigeria. You are going to have polling unit agents. Agents that you would have paid money to, you would have taken care of their hotel bills, you would have done everything that you need so that they will not go to those units at the end of the day and sign signature for your opponent that has done wuru-wuru. Do you start doing what they call consultations?
When do you say consultation? What does it really mean?
Yes, so what they call consultation. So you move from one political from one state to the other state, and you are trying to woo the different are going to be delegates to elect you. Then when you are done, you are going to have to pay money to delegates. Don't let them deceive you. They are paying delegates huge amount of money. Huge amount of money. So the 36 states of the country, you are going to go there and you are paying delegates in all these states. You think if you do not have money,
do you really have facts to prove that they are?
Who does not have facts now? Do you not have facts as a journalist? We all have facts. People, but in the days of the Awolowo wars, like it was in the days of the Azikiwes. You can recall, if you are a student of history, how that if Awolowo was coming to a territory, people stood, hung on trees to listen to him. And they weren't listening to him because he was a religious person. They weren't listening to him because he was cerebral. Okay. He had he answered the issues, the questions of Nigeria. He provided solutions for it. Look at Zik, when all of Zik's postulations. How many of the people you see today have even written 2 books or written 1 book around politics? I can call all their names for you. How many of them had advanced a theory around how to fix the insecurity problem in our country? How many of them have advanced a theory, that is well celebrated around how to fix the economic problem of our country? They just sit down and say, we are going to fix 3-point agenda. We are going to fix security because we have been in the military. We are going to fix corruption. We are also going to fix economy. What have you written? What books have you written since you left the first time as the military head that will show to Nigerians that indeed you have the capacity, you have the means, you have the ability with which to be able to deliver or provide solutions to those plaguing challenges?
You're saying
this is the reality in our country.
You're saying in a nutshell that other political parties are not really truly in existence.
They are in existence. They are in existence. They do not have the structure. They should come and challenge.
See, no, okay, so let's go older guys who are in politics, and not everybody has that wherewithal as a woman to go in and pick up that form. Now, what do you think women should actually do to have more women in participation in the politics of Nigeria, and the youth should do?
The lady in another breath has said she would step down if blah 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 blah. So she went to pick the form, and as she was addressing people, she was saying that she is not a serious contestant. Let all the women come at me.
Why would she go ahead and pick a form?
So listen,
when she's not
best candidate, and you are ready to go slug it out no matter what it takes with any whether male candidates or whether female candidates, whether those who are handicapped, you are ready to go into the field to slug it out with them because you were sure that you were going to, you know, come out tops at the end of the day.
Uju Ohaneye said that she's not going to be intimidated by the number of male folks there. And you know, there are political bigwigs in the politics, especially in the two major parties. And she has gone out in the major party, actually the ruling party, to pick up the tickets. So, what are the intimidations you think women face in our politics in Nigeria?
I don't know. I'm not the best person to answer the questions around
such.
It's advisory. It's advisory, and how do you expect it? If you were in the political party and you were interested in becoming, it's advisory. They have just said what they want to say. The people who have interest in becoming presidents, who have interest, will not, because of this statement, say they want to step down. Step down for who? Step down for women. Should call the fight, the battle, and it's free space. How many women were excused during WAEC and told to write only, if there were 6 questions, to write only 3 questions? Women have capacity to do all of that. So what very fact, and the point is, and they do not understand that Andy is the only one who is speaking for them. The very fact that you limit the standard for them is saying, is communicating already that they are weaker. And if I was a woman, I would tell you, don't lower the standard for me. Let's go together. Is this the standard that you have set? Let's go together on this standard, on this platform, and go and slug it out. The very fact that they are even clamoring for standard to be lowered for them is an indication that they are saying that they are the weaker. We are the weak. Are you not understanding the psychology of that? They are saying that they are the weaker vessel by accepting or by pushing for standards to be lowered for them. Oh, give me 45%. Oh, give me 65%. Okay, go take 100%. We're stopping you from taking 100%. Go and take 100%. You say no. Regulate it such that I will have access to 45%. You have, in that breath, in that token, said that indeed you are a weaker vessel.
All right, if you're joining us, it's ATN Saturday on the Breakfast Morning Show today at the Atlantic Television Network. And I've been speaking with Andy Akpotive. He's a nation builder and also an advocate against bad government. Now, we've been talking
Importantly, he's also an author.
All right, that's good for you, Andy. All right, so we've been talking about several issues here, especially the one that Uju Onana here has really gone to pick up the expression of nomination forms of the APC. He actually summoned the courage to pick up the form at the price pegged for 100 million naira. So that's the issue we really talked about. The UN also, in person of Antonio Guterres, has really encouraged, advised Nigerians, the government of the day, to allow more women participation, allow more youth participation. That's another hand there today. And the question is, how many women are really going in to really participate in politics today? Just like our guest earlier said, that they should be given equal standards to participate in the politics today. The standards shouldn't be lowered for them. And it's also against the waivers given by some parties to give women a chance to participate in politics today. Those are the issues really touched on this first segment of the Atlantic Television Network's Saturday, it's ATN Saturday. When we'll come back, we'll move over to the issue on another issue on ground, which is the state of the nation. Action Aid raises alarm. Soon Nigerians won't afford bread, fertilizer, and others. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Have you joined us back on ATN Saturday? I am Namdi Uzuku, standing in for near Barry Fakai, and we're moving over to the next issue we have on ground, which is a report released by Action Aid Friday revealed that soon Nigerians would not be able to afford a loaf of bread, fertilizer, and other essentials for their well-being due to unabated soaring prices of these commodities across the country. The report made available to a print medium in Nigeria here by Action Aid Nigeria, ANAH, showed that the prices of what bread have increased to 59%, 67%, and also 127% in Kwara State, Yobe State, and Lagos State, respectively, while in Kaduna, fertilizer prices have increased up to 111%, and in Lagos, sunflower cooking oil price increased by 111%. The country director, Action Aid Nigeria, Ene Obi, said, and I quote, "The Ukraine-Russian war has worsened the cost of living in many parts of the world, but the gaps in governance and lack of social safety net have thrown more Nigerians into the abyss of poverty. The current hyperinflation has made the measure income of many Nigerians insignificant. For a government committed to lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, there is a need for reflection and immediate action. Revenue drive and allocation of resources can be done effectively by states and local governments with strong measures to curtail graft and corruption." Action Aid International's Global Climate Justice Lead, Teresa Anderson, has created a perfect storm of skyrocketing prices for food, fuel, and fertilizers, disproportionately affecting local communities who barely have any belt left to tighten. Our survey found that the prices are now double, triple, and almost for many times much more before the starting of some places. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, is releasing its latest global food price index, which found the world food commodity prices reached their highest levels last month. The report also indicated that the cost of food, fuel, and fertilizer in some of the world's poorest communities is soaring, with families spending double, triple, and nearly 4 times what they were paying before Russia invaded Ukraine. A new analysis by Action Aid finds while the average cost of wheat products like pasta has increased by more than 50% in local markets and commodities in the 13 countries surveyed, families in Lebanon, which is heavily dependent on imports from Ukraine and Russia, are spending as much as 275% more than they were at the end of February. Also, that's the issue we have on ground, and Andy Akpotive is still in the building here to discuss with us. And this is the issue really making the common man on the streets say that what is happening, they've been crying woe. We know the price of bread of 50 naira now. That was 50 naira some time ago. It's now 80 naira. And those of 100 has increased to 150. And those of 200 has increased to 300. Those of 500 naira is now 700 naira. That's the jumbo size of bread.
A lot of Nigerians do. I just think that personally, you can hardly find a lot of healthy bread. So I stay away from it.
You stay away from bread
as much as possible.
So what do you make of the Action Aid rises commodities like fertilizer and the rest of it?
It's not new. It's not new to us. When I hear some of these things, I'm wondering why it's making headlines. It's not new to even the average Nigerian. Government and the standards of government have been reduced by the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration.
Is it his administration that the price of bread increased?
It has been reduced by the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. You heard, for instance, in countries where there are safety nets, where due to the actions and the activities of government, they have to insulators for the people, you will not have these kinds of challenges. But countries where you have misgovernance, where you have dissonance, you know, in how government is run, countries where you have, you know, this kind of deliberate, infantile system of administering the political space and the economic space, you would see that the people will bear the brunt even the hardest. So I am not one who is moved by this limelight.
Bread is are actually one of the
there are other things.
Food we have
Go
in the
check
morning
all
for
the
breakfast.
gifting commodities. Go to the market, carry your camera and go there. Go check the prices of garri. Check the prices of all of these things. Who are the people who really eat bread?
But the
poor people, do
aid.
they even really eat bread? You know what it means to eat bread and tea or bread and egg. It takes a level of affluence in Nigeria to be able to do that. But the things that the people really eat, the fufu, the amala, the garri, and all of those things that people go and check what is the leap now. This one they are talking 25%, 55%, because it's Action Aid. Nigerians are doing a lot of research already that is not Action Aid, that are showing how that this government has, you know, pauperized the people more than they met the people. Pauperized. Go and see the prices of petroleum product today. What are we talking about? The price of petroleum product affects virtually everything. And this government consistently, they have been telling us that they have not removed subsidy. You see, give a man who knows how to drive a car, the man will take you to your destination with little or no dents. Give a man who does not know how to drive a car, perhaps never drove a car in his life before, a car to take you to a destination. If he manages to take you to that destination, he's going to take you to that destination with broken legs, hands, and neck. This is the reality in this country.
Okay,
We have been given, or we have given the leadership of this country to a man who...
Hello, Godwin. Good morning to you, and how are you today, this morning?
From Lagos, and you know, even today is weekend, but then we still get traffic everywhere in the town. I guess because people are trying, and I want to tell your guests to the studio, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
All right, good morning. All right, so we are set to join the conversation, Namdi. So let's kick it off from there.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you have you've been seeing the issue on ground? The Action Aid actually saying that soon, and Nigerians won't be able to afford bread and other fertilizers and other commodities. I want to ask you, how much is the price of bread in Lagos? Do you have the various ranges? First of all, do you enjoy eating bread?
I suppose every Christian should love eating bread. Couples with bread a lot. It takes bread from one point, it breaks them. I would say that in Lagos, basically, bread prices varies. The price of bread varies. Like we know, we have the popular bread in Lagos known as the bread agege. I don't know if you know that bread. We call it agege bread.
I want, yes, you know, those days when I was in Lagos, there's the agege bread and the agoyin beans, right? There's the combination.
Ewa
agoyin, yes.
Going, your guests in the studio know it very well. Yes. He even knows you more than you now.
No. I was doing that. I also lived in Lagos. And we know they have ewa going and the agege bread. Yes. The combinations is just so it drives the brain crazy sometimes. You could say that.
Yeah, so we call it in Lagos BBM.
BBN, right?
Beans. BBM, yes, bread, beans, and probably one other drink like that. Let me not mention the name on air.
Okay, so now we understand, Godwin, we understand how
to buy breakfast low as 15 naira in Lagos. See bread for 15 naira in Lagos, some parts of Lagos. So far in Lagos, the prices of bread are relatively low because you know most Lagosians, that's what we take as breakfast, lunch, and almost dinner. You take bread and beans in the morning, you take just bread and mineral in the afternoon, then you take bread and perhaps egg or indomie like some people do in the evening. So if you increase price of bread in Lagos, automatically you tell Lagosians to fasten their belts because we don't know what unforeseen circumstance, as we like to put it. But the price of bread so far in Lagos is still relatively low. I don't know that of Port Harcourt.
Okay, just to let you know that there's a size of bread of 50 naira. We don't have that in Port Harcourt again. It has risen from 50 naira to 80 naira now. And the price, yes, then the price of bread that was 100 naira at a time is now 120, and there's one of 150.
Interesting.
So in Port Harcourt, the price increased. So the price for...
So, one would be tempted, sorry to cut you, but one would be tempted to ask at this point, at what point do you guys have the 20 naira, 10 naira, 5 naira, 50 kobo to spend in Port Harcourt? Because in Lagos, the first thing you do when you want to buy anything in Lagos, the person tell you need change, or what that implies is that I don't have change.
Yes. So it's quite alarming.
For you.
Yeah, it's quite alarming. In Port Harcourt, it's a different ball game. We know that if you're some short distances also in Port Harcourt, that was 50 naira has risen to 100, and it stays there since the increment of the fuel price. And that's what some of the things my guest here in the studio, Andy Akpotive, was actually trying to reel out, talk about these issues on ground, and which is really biting really hard on the common man on the street today that we have. I don't know if this is the same in Lagos.
But Lagos is much more calm than most states. If you like to use the word, it's much more calm because literally in Lagos, you get your salary, for example, and you cannot budget. You can say for Lagos that I'm going to spend 3,000 naira on my transportation. You know, the price of Lagos transportation varies in terms of the number of people on the bus stop. Depends on if the sun is going to be a little bit high and tough. Depends on a lot of factors that contribute to Lagos price of transportation. So it's not necessarily fuel, because if it's for the fuel, people can get it anywhere. So it's not for the fuel. So for Lagos, in terms of fuel, we've not really had that difficult experience because right now what the Lagos state government have done so far is what they call the BRC buses. the bus rapid transportation. There's a BRT bus across Lagos, so their prices also is a bit stable. So all you need to do is to get a card, get a Cowrie card. Use a Cowrie card to just working in Lagos. We have a lot of ferries working in Lagos, here in Lagos. So literally, if the buses are not going, I can start to just join the boats. Because in places going to the island, I can connect to the island situation whereby the airports are going to be shut down from next week because of the cost of the AON keep complaining that a lot of things have gone up. But then I want on the studio. Do you think at this point that the citizens have failed in our responsibility towards the government to ensure that the government, because if the citizens are not clamoring for accountability, like what happened during Jonathan's review, do you think that the citizens have failed in the responsibility for not advocating effectively to this government?
When you say citizens are not clamoring right now, the syrup is sowing every day. Are you aware?
During Jonathan's regime, administration rather, we saw a situation whereby Lagos or Jota was occupied. They call it Occupy Lagos. And we have similar...
Deployed in the different dispensations of life to achieving certain targets or certain goals. If under Goodluck Jonathan's administration, because of the peculiar nature of our political firmament, people could do that. There's a different, firmament today under the President Buhari's administration that, makes that protocol that was deployed then, relatively difficult to be deployed now. And I mean by saying that Nigeria has been largely polarized, divided around, if a person was speaking, they say this is a PDP person. The APC person was speaking, they said this is an APC person. We did not have so much of that issues. A lot of Nigerians those things of that administration or in that dispensation. But today, you would hear that there are very few APC people who, who look at the issues as they are and speak against those issues. Very few APC people who are detribalized, who are, not... boxed to the political cocoon or into the political cocoon. We'll look at issues, on a panoramic level to interpret it away from attachments and sentiments, that you can get from political parties. So today, you cannot say that indeed you will use the formula that you used yesterday because it's going to all fall on your face. Did you not see what happened with the are being deployed? Nigerians, indeed, if you say that they are not doing it as well as they should, I would agree with you because when we are heck it anymore, but Nigerians have become so lackluster, we have become so lukewarm, we have become them resign from that. Government is failing and they have failed, particularly this APC government, very infantile government in all regard, and this is Andy saying it. And if you had a good government, you had someone who understood what to do part-time, Nigeria would not have been in this squalor.
Let me get you on this. Speaking of the government, we have this three perspectives to the government. We said normally we have the three tiers of government, which are the state, the federal, and the local government. If you say the government has failed in its responsibility, we need to put it into perspective. Is it the local government that have failed? Are the 776 local governments in Nigeria, have they failed? Are we
what is controlling the aviation industry going down or going on strike now? Is it the states? What is controlling the prices of bread going up? Is it the states? What is controlling the amount of money that is paid to workers across the different states? Is it the states? What is controlling the macro? I'm saying to you that as much as I can say government in totality has failed, the federal government under the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration has failed because they came in without competencies, without a blueprint on how to fix this country. Has failed and has failed again. That's why Nigeria is what it is today.
Godwin.
All right. So I am not the mouthpiece of Buhari, but then let me just, I'm a journalist. All right. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, in as much as they won't agree with your own submission, which you, by Section 36 of the Constitution, everybody's entitled to their opinion. So let's take it up from that point. Looking at it also, will you say that the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, government in the last 6 years...
What are the blueprints now? This is journalistic innuendos. Journalistic innuendos. Right. What are the blueprints? What blueprint have they come out with that you have seen? Is it the ERG, economic whatever growth plan that you have? What is the blueprint that they have got? Blueprint they couldn't even implement, measures that were far blown beyond reality. What blueprint have you seen, government? Government that is groping in the dark and just beating the air, and anywhere belle-faced government. What blueprint indeed have you seen now? What have they fixed? What blueprint have you seen in the area of security and insecurity? What blueprint have you seen with regards to fighting corruption? They are even releasing those who have been convicted by a court, a competent court. And there's no journalistic innuendo you can use to take them out of this.
So if you are in the government right now, what would you do differently?
Several things that I would do differently. Several things. In what regard? That's what you should ask me. Is it in terms of fighting insecurity? In terms of fixing the economy? In what regard? There are several things I would do differently. Definitely, I will not do anything near what the President Muhammadu Buhari's government is doing today. Government that takes money from Abacha's loot and shares it without any plan to a set of people they call those who are deprived in the society. Throw it into the basket, you know, and there's no plan. Yet the country is drowning. The country is drowning in infrastructural decadence. You want to see how the country is drowning in that regard? ASU has been on strike. You don't know the implication of that in our country. ASU has been on strike for months. And you...
Okay, so Godwin, thank you for that now. 2023, farmers orders buy presidential farms for Emefiele. How through is this now? About 3 groups were believed to have raised 100 million naira each for on Friday. They are the Rise Farmers Association, that's one. Emefiele Support Group as another. Friends of Godwin as another. A source in the CBN close to him said although Emefiele were aware of some of the groups purchasing the farms, he had yet to accept one. Now, these are the issues on ground. Now, 3 groups are buying farms for him. That's, I earlier told you that the rice farmers are buying it. Emefiele Support Group, as friends of the Godwin, is also part of them buying, as I told you earlier on. But he has not accepted any of the farms yet. I still reiterate that. Now, buying farms doesn't mean he's running for the presidency, the source said. Now, somehow, this is the issue on ground. Who do we believe? The source is saying that buying of those farms does not imply that he's running for the office of the president come 2023 elections. Now, Godwin Emefiele, we know it's the current Central Bank of Nigeria's governor in Nigeria at this point in time, and several speculations have it that he may be coming out for the 2023 elections. 100 billion naira. Now, Andy, do you see this as true? What do you make of this story now?
You know,
formally we had the vice president say that there was no disclosure that he was going to come out for presidency. He was going to come out to run, and it was just here and there, and now we have it that he's running. So, is that the same case we have for Godwin Emefiele, the CBN governor?
Our governor in Rivers that are under these very fictitious groups and groupings. Do they have faces? What are the names in these groups? What have they done? What are they doing? Where are their farms? These friends, what are their names? Fake! All fake. They want to, wondering how they are able to pull together 100 million, 200 million. Is the strategy. FIRS, like I said in the beginning, we had income taxes. How did they get those monies? So let them all come out, stand before press and say, my name is James, my name is Brown, my name is Kogi State, farms in Bayelsa, farms in Delta State and all that. We have together not to be hoodwinked. We must be careful not to be, pulled by the nose by these politicians. It has jumped to the highest level. The exchange rates against the dollar. What is
Andy,
it?
Are you saying that?
What are people going to put money together for now?
Are you saying that this is just a smoke screen? That
Jamboree,
buying the
Jamboree, they are buying the funds.
All right, let's go. You talked about integrity
Fake.
sometime. And I want to go with a publication actually in March, early weeks of March. That was the first week of March. Now, the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, said that all those who forms were bought for them shouldn't be voted into office of the president. And he said this because he said they lacked who have the logical and intellectual know-how and don't have the financial wherewithal that are give chances to really run for office.
Obviously, there are such people, the financial wherewithal, to be able to prosecute their campaigns.
So why is President Muhammadu Buhari's case different?
From the beginning to the end. But you see, you have to count 1 before you count 10. You have to be able to show to me, demonstrate to me that you can do this thing, you want to do this thing, before I give you support. The first way to demonstrate to me, how do I pull resources together to now help to prosecute your campaign? They are begging you from the house. We confirmed that indeed, and withdraw and paid into a source account now. Abi, about the monies that will take you that far by getting the form. You have not thought about it. Why should you therefore want to go there? See, you don't go to, and I don't want to call names of some restaurant. You understood that if you walked into those restaurants, there are implications. You are not going to buy from them like you buy from the market woman who is selling on the street. If you did not have that money, don't walk into that place. Nobody walks into a car lot that does not either have money or is planning to have money to buy to buy the car. You can't tell me that indeed now that that's why you see all the jamboree, you see all the nonsense that you are seeing. Virtually all of them are saying that they bought forms for them. In the first instance, why should they buy forms for you? You want to be the president of this country. Why should they buy form for you?
But why shouldn't they buy form for you if you have the intention?
I have said that is the implication that you are ready to even administer this space is for you to go out. It's for you to appear before a panel. You want to get a job. You appear before a panel. If you did not appear before the panel, somebody would without you appearing in Nigeria, and that's why you see all the nonsense that is happening in this country. Because if you do not have the capacity to build a house, sit down, rest, begin to gather before you take the.
Thank you, Andy.
The push. Some of them who went there by faith came out.
Some friends might deem it necessary or fit that this person is credible enough to want to let's just gift him for him to go for that. It doesn't mean, like in the case of a Mefele, like Nnamdi going to run is a rhetoric for us. We still do not know who is going to run, but then farmers and friends and people are putting money for him at this point. So I want to find out from you also, with this your conversation with difference about people gathering money for Emefiele, if his policies in terms of CBN revitalization and his policies towards the fiscal economy of Nigeria, if it has improved the standard of living of the average man on the street, will you still hold sway to this conversation that people should not buy form for him?
So in the first instance, people
contributed.
Yes, they did not buy form. So Barack Obama unduly in the American system. So it will make sense for you to say, this is the much that I have. I need people to help pull funds together to support my campaign. And people then pull up because you have come out to say, this is the much that you have. And that much can be verified. In Nigeria, what we are seeing today is that both those who have and those who do not have, we hear that people who do not even have strong letter to all of them and say, I want to have the list of the people that